You're listening to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, created to help you succeed in your PMP certification journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional prepcasts, books, and training materials await. Let's get started. Communications management exists to ensure the right information reaches the right people at the right time, reducing friction and enabling prompt action. When communications are purposeful, leaders make faster choices, teams avoid duplicated effort, and fewer disputes about versions occur. Think of communications as a service you design. Define consumers, define the product they need, and deliver it on a predictable cadence so decisions happen with minimum delay and wasted energy. Well-executed communications produce 3 practical outcomes: quicker decisions, less rework, and fewer "which version?" disputes that consume time and trust. Faster decisions result from timely, focused signals that highlight impacts and requests rather than burying them in noise. Less rework comes from clear acceptance criteria and confirmations up front. A single canonical artifact prevents version fights because everyone points to the same place. Treat these outcomes as measurable goals of your communications plan. Use this toolkit whenever confusion, delay, or duplicate messages surface. Those symptoms are early warnings that your current approach is not serving decision needs. Repeated clarifying questions, threads that split into conflicting instructions, or stakeholders acting on different documents are not mere nuisances. They slow delivery. Intervene with a short plan. Segment audiences, map cadence and channels, establish a single source of truth, and make clarifications fast and visible so the team returns quickly to productive work. Segment stakeholders by interest, influence, accessibility, and decision role, so every message is tailored to what recipients actually need to do. Executives often need top-level impacts and decisions. Integrators need interfaces and timelines. Operators need runbooks and access details. Segmenting prevents overload and ensures each audience receives digestible information they can act on without sifting through irrelevant material. This targeted approach reduces cognitive load and speeds response. Define expressly what each segment needs to decide or to act on, and avoid vanity metrics that look busy but don't enable choices. For each audience, identify decision triggers and the minimal facts required: context, impact, recommendation, and a clear request. Present those elements first, then attach supporting detail. Focused messages let recipients act quickly and reduce back and forth, because the information required for a decision was provided up front in a predictable format. Capture accessibility, time zone, and language requirements, so timing and format match real-world behavior. If key stakeholders are in other zones, schedule updates in windows they can actually read, or provide concise asynchronous summaries with explicit action deadlines. When teams cross languages or technical backgrounds, use plain language and link to glossaries or brief explainer notes. These small accommodations make communications equitable and reliably actionable for distributed participants. Create a cadence map that prescribes when dashboards, reviews, approvals, and escalations will occur so stakeholders know what to expect and when to act. Cadence is not busy work. It builds predictable decision points and reduces ad hoc interruptions. Combine daily or weekly operational radiators with scheduled milestone reviews and a protocol for urgent escalations so rhythm and emergency coexist without constant firefighting. Build a channel map that matches message types to the right medium: asynchronous documents for reference, short live meetings for alignment and negotiation, visual boards for ongoing situational awareness, and alerts for urgent incidents. Enforce channel purpose so approvals are not given in ephemeral chat and decisions are always moved into the canonical record. Proper channel use prevents duplication and preserves an auditable trail. Adopt a message pattern that leads with context, states the impact, makes a clear decision or request, and finishes with next steps so recipients can skim and act quickly. People scan. Lead with the ask. For example, context: integration test failed. Impact: release risk increased by 2 days. Decision requested: approve rollback of feature X. Next steps: pause deployment if approved, and run corrective tests. This structure accelerates comprehension and response. When executing communications, keep messages short and surface the decision first to respect recipients' time and prompt action. Trim background to a one-line context and place supporting artifacts behind a link. Brevity forces clarity and reduces follow-up clarifications. Short, action-oriented messages lower the cognitive burden for busy stakeholders and decrease the friction required to respond. Use visuals, simple charts, status tables, and traffic light indicators and bullets to present the signal, and always link to the single source of truth so deeper detail is available without duplication. Visuals convert dense facts into immediate impressions and reduce the need for lengthy prose. A single, linked canonical document prevents divergent copies proliferating in email and chat and makes verification straightforward. Confirm understanding with lightweight readbacks, brief polls, or one-line approvals recorded in the canonical place so there's no ambiguity about who agreed and when. Require that approvals and decisions be documented once in the official repository to maintain an audit trail. These small confirmation steps eliminate later disputes and create durable artifacts for governance and handovers. Monitor communications health by watching for duplicate threads, silence where questions are expected, repeated clarifying queries, or delayed approvals. Treat these as signals to tune cadence and channels. Use these indicators as actionable feedback. Duplicate threads suggest the canonical source isn't discoverable. Silence may indicate accessibility barriers. Repeated questions imply missing clarity. Treat monitoring as routine maintenance rather than punitive oversight. Tune cadence and retire low-value reports to reduce noise and concentrate attention where decisions actually happen. Measure success by decision cycle time rather than message counts. If a weekly status no one reads consumes a day's work, replace it with a short dashboard and a monthly deep dive. Continuously prune and refine so communications serve only the decisions they must enable, freeing time for substantive work. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Communications channel complexity grows quickly with participants. Conceptually, the number of pairwise connections among n people equals n times n-1 divided by 2. This formula models why ad hoc pairwise chat becomes chaos as teams scale. Think of each connection as a potential duplicated thread. The math shows you when a hub is necessary. Use the simple expression n times n-1/2 to justify centralization when connections exceed practical oversight. Apply the formula with small examples to build intuition. With 5 people, n times n-1, 2 equals 5 times 4 divided by 2, which results in 10 unique connections. With 10 people, it becomes 10 times 9 divided by 2, or 45 connections. Those jumps illustrate exponential cognitive load. Present these examples slowly and clearly so listeners can follow the arithmetic. The numbers show why uncontrolled channels multiply confusion and waste time. When recommending structures after the computation, pair the math with governance, propose a hub-and-spoke model, designate owners for each hub feed, and suggest RACI-style senders for formal updates. Explain that a central updater curates canonical state, radiators publish continuous awareness, and spokes translate for specialized audiences. In exam-style answers, compute the channel count and then justify the hub architecture by linking reduced connections to lower latency and fewer duplicated threads. Sensitive and regulated communications demand strict need-to-know discipline, least privileged delivery, approved templates, and retention and redaction rules so confidentiality and compliance are preserved. Classify content types and map them to approved channels. Establish templates for common regulated messages so content is complete and consistent. Explicit retention schedules and redaction guidance prevent accidental exposure and support audit requirements. Treat these controls as non-negotiable project constraints. Never bury formal decisions in ephemeral chat. Capture approvals and risk acceptances into the official log with identity and timestamp so the record is auditable. Chats are useful for coordination but are not a substitute for decision artifacts. When a decision is reached, transfer a concise summary, who decided, the decision, conditions, and next steps into the canonical repository. This prevents later disputes and ensures traceability in regulated contexts. Caution clearly. Do not include personal data, regulated identifiers, or sensitive operational details in open channels. Use controlled logs and follow retention, access, and redaction policies to protect privacy and compliance. When in doubt, route content through the official secure channel and consult legal or compliance owners. Communicate these cautions as a matter of habit. Protecting data is part of communication discipline, not an afterthought. Incident communications must be tightly scoped, report facts only, include precise timestamps, and commit to a next update time to contain rumors. Initial incident notes should answer what is known, what is being done, and when the next factual update will be provided. Avoid speculation and do not assign blame in early messages. Facts and cadence restore situational awareness and reduce anxiety among stakeholders. Design incident templates that separate factual chronology from impact assessment and remediation plans so recipients can consume essential facts quickly and drill into analysis as needed. A short factual header, a one-line impact summary, and explicit next steps form a reliable structure. Use a single incident owner to publish updates and ensure every message references the incident ID in the canonical log for traceability and later review. When communicating about incidents, explicitly state who is authorized to update external parties and ensure approvals for release of sensitive material. External statements require coordination with compliance, legal, and public affairs. Internal status updates should remain factual and controlled. This governance prevents conflicting public messages and shields responders from inadvertent disclosure. Agile communications favor information radiators and frequent short touches that surface near-term commitments and impediments without heavy reporting. Daily stand-ups, sprint reviews, and live boards give immediate visibility and enable rapid course correction. Radiators like burn-ups and board columns let teams and stakeholders see progress at a glance, supporting continuous alignment and small, frequent decisions instead of infrequent, large ones. Predictive environments rely on formal reports, structured sign-offs, and controlled distribution to satisfy governance and contractual needs where traceable approvals matter. Here the emphasis is on packaged evidence test summaries, certification documents, and handover packets sent through controlled channels. That predictability supports audits and formal acceptance, but can slow immediate responsiveness if overused. Hybrid approaches combine dashboards for continuous visibility with stage-based communications for formal milestones so both speed and traceability are served. Link radiators to official handover artifacts and ensure translation between agile artifacts and formal reports. This reduces duplication. One live dashboard can feed the evidence package required by the next gate while keeping teams informed in real time. Scenario: competing stakeholder updates produced conflicting actions because two groups used different schedule versions and a developer executed work another team had canceled. Option A: convene an emergency meeting to reconcile and then email the corrected schedule. Option B: immediately publish the corrected schedule in the canonical repository, notify owners, and require a one-line readback confirmation. Option C: forward both versions to leadership and ask them to pick. Option D: ignore and let teams sort it out. I'll give you a moment to consider that. The best next action is option B. Update the single source of truth, notify owners, and require confirmation, because it stops further divergence quickly and creates a canonical reference. This approach preserves momentum, minimizes delay, and documents who acknowledge the change. The strongest distractor is option A. While alignment meetings can help, they are slower and risk reintroducing confusion if not immediately anchored to the canonical record. Option C shifts operational resolution upward unnecessarily and may politicize what should be a facts-based reconciliation. Option D invites more rework. After publishing the canonical update, explicitly retire older artifacts and close duplicate threads so everyone uses the same schedule. Require tick box confirmations in the repository to record comprehension and approvals. Broadcasting without purpose, lacking an audit trail, and ignoring accessibility or time zone differences are common pitfalls that degrade communications, trust, and slow decisions. Unfocused broadcasts create noise that buries decision-relevant signals. Absent audit trails produce unverifiable authority, and accessibility oversights exclude contributors. Recognize these as structural failures, not just messy behavior, and address them at the plan level rather than with ad hoc fixes. A compact playbook makes communications operational. Segment audiences, map cadence and channels, craft short messages that lead with the decision, link everything to the single source of truth, confirm comprehension, and measure by decision latency. Monitor indicators, duplicate threads, silence, repeated clarifications, and prune low-value reports. Keep the loop tight. Update the canonical source, notify owners, collect confirmations, and use cycle time metrics to show improvements. Thanks for tuning in to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, your trusted source for cybersecurity news and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.